Hello dear students. So in this module, finally we are studying the last example of polygenic inheritance, and that is the human skin color. Let us just have a flashback. As we already studied, polygenic inheritance is something where the characters are controlled by two or more pair of genes. And these gene students is seen to give additive or cumulative effect. Now these genes that are capable of giving additive and cumulative effect are called as polygenes or multiple factors. Also students, if you remember, we had seen human skin color as one of the classic examples of polygenic inheritance. Now let us study this example in detail. There was this scientist called Davenport who basically studied the inheritance of skin color in the population of black and white in the USA. What he observed was whenever there was a marriage between a black and a white, the offspring that was produced was of intermediate color, and such offsprings were called mulattoes. Now this is a kind of phenotype which is otherwise also seen in the case of incomplete dominance. But then what is different in case of polygenic inheritance? Let us observe. Further, when it was seen that these mulattoes marry each other, they would produce offsprings with continuous variations, as we see in this particular image. And these variations were seen to be in the ratio 1:6 is to 15 is to 20 is to 15 is to 6 is to 1. Do not worry students, we are going to study this ratio in detail. Rather, this was the ratio that concluded that the human skin color had 3 pair of genes that controlled it, of which the 3 alleles that you see here were the dominant traits, whereas the small alleles that you see in the blue are the recessive traits. Further students, we also know that melanin is the pigment that determines skin color in humans. Now the genes that you see here, the dominant alleles rather, are seen to be secreting a fixed amount of melanin, and whatever skin color is exhibited as the phenotype is rather the cumulative effect of all of these alleles or all of these genes. So students, let us now study the genotype of the humans in detail. We have black and white human here with a genotype of black which is completely dominant, whereas the genotype of the white is recessive, which further produce mulattoes, that is having a genotype of intermediate trait, that is it is having a genotype of heterozygous dominant. Now further, let's study what happens when these mulattoes marry amongst each other. They produce F2 generation with 64 combinations, and it is seen that they show 7 different phenotypes, of which one is pure white, next very fair, followed by fair, mulatto, dark brown, very dark brown, and finally pure black. Out of the 64 combinations, 1 is pure white, 6 are very fair, 15 are seen to be fair, 20 are seen to be mulatto, 15 again seen to be dark brown, 6 seen to be very dark brown, and finally 1 seen to be pure black. Now all of this, as we know, is controlled by the cumulative effect of the dominant gene. Let's see what these dominant genes are. So the pure white has no dominant gene, hence albinos or pure whites. Whereas very fair has 1 dominant gene. Fair has a cumulative effect of 2 dominant gene. Mulatto with 3 dominant gene, dark brown with 4 dominant gene, very dark brown with 5, and finally pure black with 6. So let us again observe the F2 generation, the 64 combinations, and let's see their 7 different phenotypes. So the first one that we saw was extremely dark with a genotype of all dominant and a population of 1, followed by very dark having about 5 dominant alleles and a population of 6 out of 64, followed by dark having 4 dominant alleles and 15 out of 64's population. Then intermediate skin color was produced due to the cumulative effect of 3 dominant genes, and the population that was seen to have this out of 64 was 20. Then was the light skin color thanks to the 2 dominant cumulative gene effect, and the population was 15 out of 64. Then is the very light gene having only 1 dominant gene, and the population is 6 out of 64. And lastly, extremely light having no dominant gene and only 1 of the 64's population. So students, here we see that we get a cumulative result of 64 when we add this 1, 6, 15, 20, 15, 6 and 1. So students, with this module, we have finished with our second example of human skin color and also with our topic genetic basis of inheritance. Thank you.